G'day, it's AJ. And I wanted to jump in here for a moment and give you another leadership tip. Now, tips can be great for quick and easy things, but they can also be good for just helping you reflect on your approach to how you do things. And today, I wanted to talk to you about poor leadership communication and what are some of the ways that we can make tiny tweaks and shifts to improve the way we communicate with our people. So let me give you an example. Maybe you've said this yourself, or maybe you've heard another leader say this to you or to a peer. So poor communication could be, here's what I need you to do. It could be, here's how this is going to work. It could be, here's what's so great about my new brilliant idea. Ever heard any of those before? Now, I get it. I've said them in a friendly way. I have the best intent as a leader, but it doesn't always come across that way. So when we say, here's what I want you to do, or here's my great idea, why it's ineffective is it's a tell approach. You're telling the other person what to do. And so this approach focuses too much on you as the leader, your view, your opinion, your great ideas, rather than engaging with your staff and the ideas that your employees may have. So that way it starts to feel a bit like this, like a one-way dialogue, like I'm just telling you something or I'm giving you a command. And it doesn't sound like the employee has much choice in that, right? It's not a co-created solution. So if that's how you've been communicating or you've been getting communication, let's think about what would shift that and make it better. So good communication might be, how would you like to approach this? How do you see this working? I'm curious, what do you see as the biggest challenge that we face in solving this? And so by asking questions, you're actually getting their brain to switch on. You're helping the employee do the work, not just yourself. It works because it's a coach approach. And this is what I train in our Manager to Leader Shift program, is very much this coach approach. It's a strategy that puts the employee first. It's inviting their input and ideas. It's asking them, hey, let's be involved together in solving this problem, right? And they're more likely to come up with solutions that fit their needs, that fit their skill level and their confidence. And they're also going to find solutions that they're going to be happy to implement, because not many people are going to suggest things that they're like, no way, I'm doing that. So a really small tweak, a way to get better at the soft skills of leadership is just to shift from tell to ask, right? And then you're going to create a connection and demonstrate some empathy, that you're listening to your staff, that you're tuning into them, and you're going to help them feel seen and heard and valued and understood. And that's what we want as leaders. So let's think about how we could break this down into an example. Okay, we've got an employee named Anne-Marie. Let's first look at how we would identify the problem that we've been talking about with Anne-Marie. And it might run something like, hey, Anne-Marie, what specifically is the challenge with getting other divisions on board with our project? So say you've got a major project, you need to collaborate with other divisions, maybe other departments in your organization, and they're just not coming to the party. So saying something like, Anne-Marie, what do you think is the specific challenge that's preventing them from coming on board? You're engaging her brain, you're getting her involved in the solution, and you're not just telling her what you think it is. Then you might highlight the benefit to Anne-Marie. So it could go something like, imagine having all of those divisional reps wanting to be on our committee or project. Imagine if they came knocking on our door. What would it look like? What would we have to create to become a magnet, right? That people would want to get on board. And then you might acknowledge some of the past experience, because maybe Anne-Marie is thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm up to this challenge, or maybe it didn't go so well once before. And so history is telling me this is icky again. So you might say, I appreciate as a team that we've had some challenges in the past getting people on board. So let's learn from what didn't work then, and how could we start to build on that and improve it this time? What other options do you see that we have to engage and involve people? What do you feel would resonate with people most? So, those kind of questions, and of course, pausing, listening to our answers and building on that might help you take a bit more of this coach approach to your employees. Quite often, what I find is managers have grown up through the ranks. They've been great technical people themselves, and then they're put in front of a team. And they're used to being problem solvers themselves. They're used to being hands on doers. And in order to step back and become greater leaders, we need to ask more questions, involve our team, and stop problem solving for them, but instead engage them in that process. That's how they learn and develop. And when we frame our messages and our communication this way, we focus on their strengths, on building them up. And that's, after all, what we want to do as leaders. Essentially, we want our team to do a lot of that work in the day-to-day sense. We want them to feel equipped and empowered and confident and competent to do those things. And then we, as their leader, can become their helpful ally. We can become their coach, mentor, guide, supporting them along the way, removing the barriers and doing some of the strategy and the big picture work that supports their day-to-day. So that's one little tip for you today on how you can become a better communicator as a leader. Shift from tell to ask.